I know Dinky went on it, and Dinky was like, "Yo, I had a good time." I was like,
Yeah.
"That sounds cool, man."
That's amazing. That makes me so happy. Yeah, he's a little cocky for his age, but you know, when you're good, you're good.
True.
He's like, man, I'll take you on 1v1. I'll take you down.
He's like, I'll take everyone down, all on his own. I'm like, bro, you're in Australia. You'll be lucky if we can get in the same game without you like teleporting all over the place.
How's it going, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of Grounded Talk. Now, we have a very special guest. I feel like we don't need to introduce him, but we're gonna do it anyways, because I get to say, hey, by the way, we have Paralyzer on the show. Go ahead and say hi, Paralyzer.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah.
You big me up like this, like, massive person. Like, you know, I just play Grounded.
You just play Grounded. Man, this is Grounded Talk. We are talking about, you know, we're not just talking about the game, we're talking about, you know, the community as well. So what's massive about it is you are a huge influencer. So we're just extremely grateful to have you on the show.
Well, of course, I'm very grateful to be invited.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be a good time.
All right. All right, everybody. We are going to go ahead and dive on deep. Now, we are going to get started. Paralyzer, thank you again for joining us. First, I gotta get to know you, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Paralyzer? That's a hard question.
Broad question.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So I live in the UK, more specifically England. I'm 23 now, which makes me feel really old, even though it's not that old.
Stop.
But like, I feel like in the space, you know, you see a lot of influencers or like YouTubers, stuff like that online, and a lot of them are a lot younger, and it just makes you feel old sometimes. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm a pretty simple guy. I just play a lot of video games. Always have, always will. And, it's just what I love doing. And yeah, I mean, I started YouTube. The channel I'm on right now, we technically started in 2020, but prior to that, I had a channel where all the videos are private now. Before anyone goes out there and searches for them, you won't find them. Okay.
Hey guys, Michael here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a vlog, as you can see. But yes, I'm going to be starting up Minecraft again very soon, probably tomorrow, and then we're gonna go back onto the first map.
Hi guys, it's MineClan17 here, doing some more mains videos. Well, the second really, not that much, but that's my parkour, that's my diamond house, that's my skyscraper. I haven't got, like, it's not a massive up.
Would have been back in 2013 up to like 2016, 17. So when I was like 12 up until I was like 15, 16. That one's an atrocity.
Oh my god.
It's pretty bad. And I got bullied for that one a lot, and I deserved that. So yeah, that was always good.
That is amazing. I can't believe you've been doing it for that long. Actually, you know, when I first started, it was like a hobby because I needed to de-stress from school. Like people already know this, and I fell in love with it. So I'm very surprised that this is what you wanted to do at such a young age. So that's amazing to see how far you've come.
So the first question, what do you think is behind the secret door?
That's the biggest question right now, right?
Yeah.
That's the number one grounded question. 1.4 is the simple answer. I think is the most likely answer, right? Is what 1.4 is going to be behind that door. My prediction is, I think someone counted there are 7 monitors in front of the door and 7 bosses that you can currently kill in the game. So as you kill each boss, it'll light up the monitor or change the monitor or something like that. And then once you've beaten all 7, you'll be able to unlock the door to go through. And then what's on the other side, I think, given everything that's been said with regards to constraints that they have in terms of memory, which is a huge issue right now in the backyard, they can't really add much more to the actual yard itself because they've said, like, there's too many assets, too much memory taken up, especially because they keep supporting old gen. It's just not possible. Yeah. So I think potentially they put a telepotty back there or maybe one final boss fight and then a teleporty, and we teleport to a brand new yard. Essentially free up all the memory of the old one and then start a completely new one.
If you could, what weapon would you like to see buffed because of its current state in the game?
Ooh. This is kind of not necessarily a weapon I want to see buffed, but a weapon I want to see in the game that isn't currently in the game.
Okay.
Is a two-handed hammer.
Yes.
Because I think like a massive like war hammer would be like so good and so powerful, and the hammers right now are just trash, and the busting damage is kind of useless because of that.
Yeah.
So some sort of giant hammer, and then a two-handed spear as well that has like a much further reach to it.
Yeah, like a javelin.
But it's obviously a bit more of a risk. Yeah, it can't be like thrown, I guess, if it's two-handed. But you can definitely do some fun things.
Okay. That's perfect. Armchair and I have this ongoing thing where just like, when are you gonna give us warhammers? Please give us warhammers.
What type of biome would you like to see in the game?
Biome? Ooh. I think my number one would be like an area with like an open fridge or a freezer that gives a freezing effect. So the opposite to the sizzling effect, like a freezing effect. And you need to make like a special set of armor to keep you warm so that you don't freeze to death.
For sure.
And like collect, I don't know, maybe ice from within there. And similar to ant eggs, the ice would have like a timer on it before it like melts, and you have to use it to make things. I think it's pretty fun.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
One, it would introduce new armor, and then two, it would introduce, you know, a sense of different weathering. It would give you a new challenge, and you have to figure out different strategies to go about the game. So that, you know, definitely, and it, you know, it gives us more options because unless you're going after the charcoal, you don't really need the full, in my opinion, you don't really need the full antlion armor. Since we're talking about armor, what is your favorite armor set?
Does it have to be a full set, or like can I mix and match?
That's a good question. Armchair, what do you think?
Honestly, yeah, sure, we can just say mix or match.
Mix and match? I mean, I can give you both. I think it depends as well. Like in terms of actual functionality, I think right now the Widow set, since it got buffed, is the best. Like if you want to run just one full set of armor in the game, it's probably the best set right now.
Yeah.
Because that buff is just insanely OP with the healing. In terms of mix matching, I would say I love to mix like an assassin mask, a chest of the mother demon, and like some fire ant leggings, and then make the helmet and leggings bulky. Because you get like some bleed, you get some corrosion, you get a bit of poison, a bit of venom. The chest plate's obviously heavy, so it gives you decent defense with some medium leggings. Like it's enough to keep you alive. I think it's a good all-round combo. And in terms of looks, I really like the way the assassin armor looks. It's one of my favorite looking armor in the game.
Hands down.
Yeah, same here.
Same. It is, and it's such a disappointment that it is light armor. And I remember I was rocking this armor for so long.
Yeah.
And I just realized, someone pointed it out to me actually, and they were like, did you know that it's actually light armor? And I was like, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, because you just get destroyed by
medium armor, but what insect or creature would you like to see added to the game that's not currently in the game?
It's a tough one. I feel like I'd be happy with any new insects, you know what I mean? I think...
yeah.
See, I'd like to see like a centipede or a millipede. Either of those would be pretty cool. And would be very interesting and scary, very creepy.
I feel like if they were to introduce something like that into the game, maybe it would be similar to Ark. You know, when you go against they're massive like centipede, millipede looking creatures, and as soon as you get hit with that acid, you know, goo, your armor's just done, like just completely done. So it would be interesting to see how they would go about it for sure. What would you say is your preferred playstyle?
Playstyle.
Yeah, you've done a lot, so I'm curious. Like,
so much.
You've done so much.
Not ranged is the answer. For me, I like to run like a spicy weapon, like a fresh weapon, a sour weapon, and a salty weapon, like have one of each element for while running around, and just use whatever like element the enemy is weak to, usually. Two-handed versus one-handed. I used to love one-handed, but with that shield nerf recently, like, I mean, one-handed's still good, but like you have to just get rid of the shield now. It's so annoying, but it is what it is, right? Like you're just forced to get rid of it.
It kind of just unintentionally nerfs a lot of things, like the fist. It really impacted them.
Yeah, for sure.
Then also, what else? Widow Dagger got nerfed hard with this update.
Agreed.
With the
I was using that
also
for
the Venom.
Yeah, I was using that for the Wasp Queen boss fight, like because it was just really, really good in the past updates, and I went to use it in my WoW hardcore world and almost died because like that 20% reduction already does like not good damage to begin with, but the 20% from the shield, I'm pretty sure it reduces damage. Not just for the weapon, but for like all damage sources, like all the bleed does 20% less dealing, the poison, everything like that. So it just makes it terrible, impossible.
Wow, just no, it really is, and it's extremely disappointing. With the whole shield nerf, I had to change my playstyle in a way in order to still shred through the creatures and all of my enemies. It was mind-boggling, and it was a huge challenge. Especially, I mean, I never ran the Little Fist build because I don't have the patience to get Little Fist. But I can. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it was. I thought it would be a smaller change, but I didn't realize how much it would affect me.
I will take full blame anyway, by the way, for the fist build being nerfed about 17 times. That's probably partially my fault. Sorry that it's broken.
That also
I exploited that a few too many times.
Broodmother fight. I've used my fair share of the fist build during the infected Broodmother on my, I think my second most popular video. Showed me using it, and it's definitely, I think all of us, like everyone who has reviewed it on YouTube, definitely had a contributing factor to it being absolutely nerfed into the ground to where it is just pretty much just crippling to use it now.
Agreed.
What do you do on your time off if that's a...
You have a life outside of Grounded.
Do I? It depends. I would say I spend a lot of time just watching YouTube. Just like videos and stuff that I'm interested in. I'll watch TV every once in a while. It really depends like how busy I am. So when I was doing the 100 days, for example, I was streaming it every night for 3 hours, and then the next day I'm like, I'd leave my PC on overnight to compress the footage, and then the next morning, I start editing it. I probably spend like 3-4 hours that day editing it down. And then it's mostly just watching YouTube and stuff. I watch a lot of YouTube in the background of editing as well. Like if I'm editing footage that doesn't have any voiceover or anything. So
what I'm hearing is you don't have a life outside of that.
Exactly, yeah. I try to get myself outside to go for a walk every day. That's about
touching grass is great.
My life outside. Yeah.
I would, but unfortunately it's negative 18 out right now.
Oh, whatever. So now we're getting into the more personal questions. We're gonna get to know you just a little bit better. You already talked about, how you got started in YouTube. You've been doing this for a long time. I'm curious because you solely make Grounded videos. How do you come up with with ideas for creating content? What keeps you motivated?
Ooh, ideas. Yeah. Me, a lot of it is just thinking. Like, I don't know, my brain is very much just on all the time. Like, I'm always just thinking. And if I have an idea, I just write it down instantly. Whether it's like a great idea or a bad idea, like I'll come back to that later. But, so initially when I started, for example, the first video that I did, that did really well was the tier 2 only video on Grounded. Because I looked through like all the videos that were currently on the game, and I saw like no one's done any challenge videos, and I know challenge videos were really popular at the time on other games like Minecraft, for example.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, let's just transfer that over to Grounded and come up with a few concepts that I could use to play. And I did tier 2 only, tier 1 only, and those did pretty well. And then coming up with other ideas, it's kind of just, what can I do in this game that's like different, that hasn't been done before, you know? Which I think is very hard to come up with, but you just gotta brainstorm ideas and think about what people want to see and what people find interesting, what people need to know. Like, do people need guides? Do people need tips? Do people need, like, what do they need? You know what I mean? And try and figure that out.
Oh yeah.
People are so demanding. They want everything.
Yeah.
And if I may say, it's amazing that you did that, because I feel like since you've been doing that, there has been a huge demand for challenge videos. Me being a smaller YouTube channel, almost at 1,000 subs, I was very surprised to see just how well, at least to me, how well those challenge videos did. And it was a challenge. I was like, how does Paralyzer and CD do these things all the time?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Some of them are easier than others for sure. And like when I did that tier 2 challenge, for example, I think I had a stipulation in the challenge where it's like, well, I'm allowed to break the rules once or twice to get to these areas or whatever. And then sometimes I would just be like, I'm not going to break the rules, but I'm going to find an exploit. So there was the Termite King lair. You used to be able to get through the splinters to get in there if you just jumped through in the right place. And then they fixed that, so I can't exploit that anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of challenges are made a lot harder now by them changing all the recipes and stuff.
Why did you want to create videos in the first place?
It's a good question. Like I say, technically I started making them in like 2012, and I would say I started because I just loved watching them, to be honest. Like I feel like it's just such an addictive thing. I've been watching YouTube since like 2011, so what's that, 13 years pretty much? That's such a long time to be on one platform.
It is.
It's like almost an addiction. I'm stuck. Please help me.
Yeah, no, it is huge.
And I don't know, it's always something I wanted to do and wanted to pursue. And then obviously at school, when everyone knew, it was kind of like, okay, maybe I don't do this anymore because it just wasn't worth it, I don't think. And then I got to uni, it was like, okay, well now I'm alone again, I got loads of free time, so what do I want to do? Okay, I want to stream, I want to make videos, that's what I want to do, so let's go pursue that and try and do that if we can while I've got all this free time.
Okay. When did you know that you wanted to solely make grounded videos? Because that's what you're known for. And I checked your channel. It's like, it's seriously like, I mean, yeah.
It's like only grounded for a long time now. Yeah. I mean, technically, when I stream, I'll still stream other games from time to time, but in terms of posting on the channel specifically, that's pretty much always grounded. I think it's usually better to stick to one game, so that's part of the reason. Although I do feel like it can also put me in a box sometimes, which is a bit risky to do. Yeah. With, you're pretty much reliant on just one game doing well. But I'd say it was when I did the tier 2 only challenge, because that was like the first video on the entire channel that like really blew up and did like much better views than any other video I'd made in the past. And I also felt like when I played the game just before that, I played with a couple of friends, and it just felt like there was so much more to explore and so much more potential. The one thing I love about the game so much is the massive like sort of skill level to the game. There's a lot to learn, and you can always get better at the game in terms of like parrying and timings and stuff like that. And I like that it's so heavily skill centric. There's not like loads of luck involved, so I would say, yeah, that tier 2 only video is probably the one.
It's so crazy because when I was going through your videos, and I was like, there's a huge transition. And CD and I, we were both Armchair and I, we were talking to CD, and we were like, I'm pretty sure Paralyzer still uses like the same webcam, and it works for him, man. Like,
oh yeah.
I did switch at one point. I had, funnily enough, a viewer of mine, a very kind viewer, He was like, yo man, I love your content, but your camera is horrible. I was like, yeah, I know. And he was like, could I do you a favor and buy you a new one? I was like, damn, that's really kind of you, man. Are you sure? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, sure, okay, yeah. I mean, I'll add it to like an Amazon wish list or whatever. And the guy was really, really nice, and I'm very appreciative for that. It was very kind of him.
No,
and, yeah, because my old one is even worse than the one I have. So it was god awful. That last one I had.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that has been so appealing to the game is the community itself. Especially when I started getting into the game, I started looking at videos. Okay, how can I get better? Because when I first started, oh man, I was dying left and right. I didn't even know what a perfect block was, even though the tutorial says, "Here's how you perfect block." And I'm like, no, man. Like, anyways, long story short, it's the community, and I was able to see that, just how supporting a lot of people are. Like, yeah, so every so often, we all get those comments where it's like, negative and all that other stuff. A really good question I just thought of right now is what I just said. But I'm gonna let Armchair take it from here, and we'll circle back.
Our next question: what achievements are you most proud of?
What achievement? I think there's a lot of things. In terms of in the game specifically, I would say probably the most recent challenge I did, the WoW 100 days hardcore, I would say is probably the hardest thing I've done. Especially because I didn't use like the defense badge pretty much at all, apart from the infected wolf spider, which I think makes it quite a bit easier. But other than that, I didn't really use it, and that was not dying for 100 days. And how close I came so many times to almost dying was really scary. But I loved every second of it. It gave me a really good adrenaline rush.
This is kind of off topic, but I swear, it's the infected wolf spider and the mantis that always cause me the most resets in any sort of video.
Yeah,
because they just have like two of the most unfair attacks to where, I don't know.
Agreed, yeah, the mantis is just like, oh, you're bleeding. You're bleed. Oh, you parried my attack? Yeah, you're still bleeding. Unlucky. You're screwed.
That also in the mantis does what it's at. Like, to where she kind of leaps at you, and also does the, that one move to where she spreads her arms out.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the wolf spider, it's just that... Oh, sorry. It's
no, you're fine.
That 5-hit explosive combo that he does.
Yeah, I was trying to get the fungal charm for the whole video, like 100 days straight. Just wouldn't drop. So I was like, oh, I can't do it. Like, I could have done it without the defense badge, but it would have been, like, pretty much risking my life. I guarantee you I would have died without a defense badge. Because someone mentioned it, like, oh, just use the defense badge. I was like, I don't think that works against explosives, but I guess it did enough against like the actual damage from the physical attack itself that it just made it so that where I was taking much less, and it actually saved my life probably multiple times, to be honest.
Wow. Since you've been growing on YouTube for so long, and you've got over 20,000 subs, which is really crazy. You basically have the entire grounded community. How do you deal with, some criticism?
I think it always depends. I think when you get a comment like that, obviously YouTube hides all of them by default, so you don't actually see them in comment sections. You have to go to a special little tab.
Yeah.
It really depends on what the person is saying and the way they're saying it. A lot of them usually happen on like tier list videos, for example. Like, I'll say an opinion, and they'll be like, no, you're wrong. Like, how dare you think that? And it's like, okay, bro, you have a different opinion. That's cool, you're allowed to have a different opinion. Fine. Like, just say you have a different opinion. You don't need to tell me, like, you're wrong. It's like, okay, we have a difference in opinion. That's fine. It really depends. Some people, it's like, I'll let them have their opinion, and I'll be like, yeah, cool, man, you've got your opinion. I've got my opinion. We're just different. Simple as that. Some people, like you say, are just not constructive. They're just completely rude. And it really depends how I feel. Sometimes I'll just be like, yeah, there's a feature on YouTube, you just hide them from the channel or whatever, so they can't comment anymore. It's just like,
It's like, oh, you put the Cortana in B tier, you're the worst YouTuber ever.
Yeah, literally.
We're babies compared to, you. So it's it's like when we do come out, when we do come out with an idea, I think Armchair plays it correctly when he does a build video. But for me, you know, I'm like thinking of ideas, and I'm like, okay, cool. Believe it or not, people, we do not watch every single Grounded video. What's amazing about creating content and bringing these videos to every single one of you is the fact that we are all inspired by each other. If something almost aligns exactly to another Grounded creator, it's just per happenstance. Like it's just happenstance. You know what I mean? Yeah. I found it's amazing to be able to connect with other, you know, Grounded creators, and it's amazing to see that we all have a similar mindset, and you know that a person's been playing the game long enough to be like, okay, my build is extremely similar to another build that another Grounded creator made. Okay, cool, but don't, you know, like, please understand that you can tell when someone is taking another person's idea. And I feel like I can say this for everybody, but we can continuously make videos. It does not matter. Yeah. It really is. It doesn't matter. Like, I appreciate you taking the time to comment on my videos and be like, okay, this is what the problem is. Like, okay, that's great. Like, I can, for me personally, I can take anything as constructive criticism. But receiving comments like that, it's difficult. So for you, Paralyzer, just knowing that, you know, you have such a huge audience, it's always a gamble. It's always a risk, and that's always something that's there, you know, with all of us that create content, especially on a game that we enjoy. So I have to commend you for continuously doing what you do, because you just make the community stronger, and I think that's what's amazing about the things that you do. So
thank you. I appreciate it. And I would also say that it surprised me I'm actually surprised by how few negative comments there are. Like, I felt the Grounded community is very positive as a whole. Mm-hmm. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm not huge per se, but say I have a video that has a decent number of views, like, there's maybe one, maybe two negative comments. There's really not that many. Like, I look through it every once in a while, and there's virtually none. Like, it's very, very rare I'll even see one. So, like, yeah, as a whole, like 99.9% of people are all very positive on the videos and give good feedback. So, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And I feel like it's important for me to tell you that, because there are going to be some times, and I'm sure there's been some times where, you know, you question yourself, and things do get difficult, because, you know, those comments just they can get to you, and, you know, you have a great support system. Like, I'm really happy to have met you. You know, Armchair can definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, it's been an amazing experience. So, we're gonna close this up. If you could give one advice to a new Grounded player, what would it be, and why?
A new Grounded player.
Ooh, yeah.
My number one advice always when someone starts playing is learn to parry. Don't just go and rely on a ranged weapon, because I think some people at the start of the game, they start playing, they get destroyed, they go, okay, I'm just going to sit on top of this area here and shoot my bow, and then, yeah, that's cool, go do a boss fight now. Now get to the middle of the game and go do a boss fight. Where are you going to hide? Oh, you can't? Oh, you're just gonna get destroyed. Have fun. Yeah. Now you're gonna relearn the entire game from the start because you didn't parry from the start of the game. So I think number one advice, as soon as you start playing, learn how the parry system works, and try to learn your timings as you go, rather than just starting with like a bow or a crossbow or something. That's my number one advice, for sure.
You are continuously pushing yourself, which is amazing. When I did my no armor challenge, I probably did all the way up to the upper yard just throwing spiky sprigs. And I was like, how long can I go just throwing spiky sprigs? So, you know, it's it's an interesting challenge. It's been something I've been thinking about, but I like to see how it goes.
It's a tough challenge. I used the defense badge when I did that. I felt like that helped massively with not getting destroyed.
Okay.
Because it gives you quite a big damage resistance. So.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, yeah, the defense badge is pretty underrated.
Agreed. It's very, very good.
Yeah. It's like
most people like think it's like a mid-tier trinket just because of the like the attack debuff it gives. Even that it's not even that much. Like, yeah, your damage is reduced, but even then, you're making up for it by being able to survive much more. Like, yeah, there's a video I made to where I combined pretty much every factor that made you tanky, like spicy safety, meat shield, the heavy armor, the scimitar for the Blade Master and infection effect. And, like, even with the infected Broodmother, like, she would do that 5-hit combo, and it would only bring me down to, I want to say, a quarter, maybe a fifth of my health, and that was in her stage 3 variant on low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand. If you're wearing heavy armor, that cuts about, I think it gives you 30% damage resist. So the badge, I think, gives 35. So if you have a set of heavy armor on, you have you're still taking 70% of damage, but adding that trinket essentially cuts it down to 35. So it's essentially cutting the damage you're taking in half. Even though it only says 35%, if you have a heavy set on, it basically halves the damage you're taking, which is such a huge difference.
It is, yeah.
Like, and then the damage reduction, I think, is 25%. Chuck on a liquid rage, kind of counters it, and basically you're just normal again. So it's pretty good.
Like I said, combine it with the other stuff, like the scimitar with all that, maybe even like human food and a black ox burger, you're pretty much just gonna stroll through the entire game just absorbing everything.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you so much for watching this special episode of Grounded Talk. I definitely do appreciate each and every one of you for clicking on this video. So we are definitely going to call it here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. And if you haven't, for some reason, subscribed to Armchair and Paralyzer, please do so. They are amazing, and it's been a wonderful experience, and it always is when we do these episodes. So again, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye!